Good evening. I now call to order the November 12th, 2025 regular City Council meeting. Tonight I am joined by Mayor Pro Tem Bazagian, Council members Albrecht, Shapiro, and Weintraub, as well as city staff. If you'd like to provide public comment, please complete a speaker card and give it to our city clerk. Members of the public who need hearing assistance can request a device from the city clerk. Let's get started. I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over the heart and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Shapiro, seconded by Councilmember Weintraub. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. City Attorney, we met in closed session before this meeting. Do you have anything to report?
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. We did meet to discuss existing litigation related to Mountain Restorations Trust versus City of Calabasas. No reportable action was taken.
Thank you. We'll begin tonight with our first presentation, which is the Sheriff's Crime Report, September 2025, presented by Deputy De Matteo. Is it De Matteo or Di Matteo?
D.
D.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me. I am Deputy Di Matteo of the Lost Hills Sheriff Station. I have the crime report for the month of September. This is a light report, and I do want to start off with a correction to share with you. The noteworthy incidents section indicates an RV was stolen from Craftsman Road. This did occur, however, that is a unincorporated Los Angeles County area. The correct information on that section should read a 2024 Toyota RAV4 was taken from a commercial parking area on Calabasas Road. We did have one robbery in the city. This incident occurred at Gelson's. Employees at the location recognized a known retail theft suspect in their store. They observed the suspect, a Panorama City resident, conceal numerous bottles of alcohol in a duffel bag and exit the location without paying. Employees confronted the suspect outside the store, which then triggered a struggle for those retail items. Employees were able to hold the suspect at the location until deputies arrived, and that individual was arrested for robbery. Great news, there were 0 residential burglaries in the month of September. There was one commercial burglary. This occurred to a business office on Park Sorrento. Cash and silver totaling $15,000 was taken from the location. We did have 2 grand theft incidents. One of them I wanted to quickly cover. It's occurred at Trader Joe's. The victim was shopping and had her cell phone and wallet stolen from her grocery cart. And then about 30 minutes later, her credit cards were used at Nordstrom at the Topanga Mall for over $1,000. So just want to remind you that you need to keep an eye on your belongings when you go shopping, especially if you're alone. 2 ways that thieves will take your property are, number 1, by distraction. So somebody will distract you with questions or compliments, and then somebody else will come in and swipe your stuff. And the other one is if your back is turned to your cart and you're looking at items, retail items for sale, they will just walk by and lift it from your purse and keep walking in one quick motion. So please be careful with your belongings when shopping alone. The other incident occurred in the post office parking lot. A gentleman in a hurry parked his vehicle to drop off a letter, and he left $1,500 in cash in an envelope on his front seat and forgot to lock his car. And somebody took that envelope within the 35 seconds that he was in the post office. Imagine that. We did have 10 petty theft incidents. Most of those were retail-based. And then we did have 3 thefts from unlocked vehicles, totaling 19 Part 1 crimes for the month. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Councilmember Weintraub? No?
Just thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Actually, the one thing I flagged, you answered, and that was an unincorporated area that got this crime stat for us. But I had a second part to that question. Does somebody go through because all these areas that call itself Calabasas that are outside the city, does somebody go through and take out the ones that aren't really in the city?
So when I was reviewing this report for accuracy, I noticed that the Craftsman Road vehicle theft was on the noteworthy incidents, but the official stat count for the report was 1. So it was statted correctly, it was just written down incorrectly.
But like, if
In
the
the,
report says Calabasas,
Right.
a police report, but you don't see it because it's not on the noteworthy incidents, does somebody know not to put it, just because it says Calabasas, not to put it in the city limits? Like a residential burglary in Mountain View Estates.
Right.
Who is looking out for that to be taken out?
So the city of Calabasas, we separate us from county areas in Agora with something called a reporting district. In Calabasas, it's 2240 through 2249. Those are all Calabasas areas. Those numbers are incorporated into the police report number. Therefore, the crime analyst knows by those numbers that that crime was committed in Calabasas and not a county area.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Shapiro.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody at the station as well. I know you mentioned it already about not making sure your doors are locked, don't leave anything in vehicles. As we are approaching upcoming holidays time and holiday season before the end of the year, other suggestions for residents in the community that you might have?
So in particular to that theft at the post office in the parking lot, the victim said that he had gone to the bank prior to that, the Chase Bank, so he said he may have been followed. That is still under investigation. Other times it could have been just a crime of opportunity. Somebody sees a thick envelope on the passenger seat and the car is open and they just go for it. So both of those are options, so you just got to be careful right now, especially during the holidays. Theft will tick up.
Councilmember Albrecht.
Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you.
you for driving around the neighborhood every day. I see you from time to time doing your job. It gives us all a great feeling of security. It's maybe the holiday season, but we're getting our presents a little early. The trend line looks terrific. This is not just this month. You know, it's been slowly going in our favor. So
Yes, it
we're
has.
doing something right. And I'm wondering if the flock cameras maybe, you know, something is helping. So maybe that word is getting out. Maybe not, but it's wonderful. I know it's.
Yeah, Flock is amazing. I will be partaking in an event tomorrow that I will disclose after the fact, but it was because of Flock.
Great, great. I got one quick question. I meant to ask you this a number of times. So on citations, the citations underneath it has hazardous citations and non-hazardous. Would hazardous be speeding?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
'Cause it didn't indicate-
Non-hazardous is going to be your equipment violations, like broken blinkers, taillights, registration, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, and there's no questions from my seat, so we'll ask if there's any members of the public wishing to speak on this item. Seeing none, we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to council announcements, beginning with Councilmember Albrecht.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, sometimes there's not enough announcements, and sometimes there's not enough time for all the announcements. So first, I know we all attended this, so I'm sure we'll have remarks, but Veterans Day celebration was unbelievable. I really want to thank staff, honoring all those who have served. It's a wonderful annual program. It's not to be forgotten. Very solemn, very uplifting, and it's a celebration at the same time, the look back and the history of it. So staff did an incredible job. Every one of you that participated in it, it was elegant, perfect, and just not long, not drawn out. So I hope we can repeat that over and over. As far as the AI Flame Detection Camera Ad Hoc Committee, I'd like to give that report real quick. We're working and actively evaluating an entity that can take and receive the alerts. So that's our little block right now, and hopefully we're going to obtain an answer on that. And I hope to report not too long from now, we'll be in position to be active. Want to mention the bags for benches. This is a wonderful opportunity for people to just put their cleaning plastic, I'm trying to think of the right word. Not too many people use cleaning, go to the cleaners these days, but those that do, it's stretch plastic, and the kids at Calabasas High School have done a great job. Again, it's called Bags for Benches, and Thursday, November 20th at 3 o'clock at Wild Walnut Park. We're going to have another bench. This is going to be the third bench, symboling over 1,000 pounds of plastic that is avoided going into the landfill, so I hope you can join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Shapiro.
Oh, boy. All right, I'll join also in a big thank you to staff, Julie, Michael, all of staff who did a fantastic job putting together what was a very respectful Veterans Day, thanking everyone who has served and continues to serve, and it was really done exceptionally well, and great job by the mayor and all council members. Also, a number of us attended, and congratulations again to staff Melanese and the Mayor's Youth Council for the Las Virgenes Creek cleanup. They did a great job, and I'm sure there's some pictures somewhere that'll come out with some big, at least one council member got a big item he brought out. Also, we attended, a number of us, the Calabasas Community Center had a safety fair, and our own Mike Dyer was there, along with other staff members, of course, hosted by, or partially hosted by Assembly Member Irwin and Supervisor Horvath as well. And just mention, those who don't know, Calabasas High School football has come up strong in the last few weeks. They're in the playoffs. They've won 2 rounds, and they have their 3rd round at Saugus this Friday, which is actually about the best they've done all year so far. So wish them a lot of luck, and a happy early Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you. Councilmember Weintraub?
Not in the city of Calabasas, but because so many of our residents take Topanga Canyon, just want to make sure that people know that Topanga will be closed starting tomorrow night at 10 p.m. So you will not be able to, from Grandview to PCH, but meaning you can't go all the way through, and they're expecting that it'll be closed at least through Friday and maybe through the weekend. So please check traffic before taking Topanga Canyon all the way to PCH. And also a reminder for our community, or really a save the date, that on December 4th, we are having a town hall with SCE. And this is an opportunity for the community to come out and really express to Edison how the level of service that we receive from them is completely unacceptable in terms of the number of outages on a good day and in terms of the notifications for PSPSs. But we really need the community to come out and for SCE to hear that it's not just the 5 of us complaining about their service, that the community is behind it, and really that we demand improvements to the infrastructure in our community. And just a quick thank you. December 4th, 6 o'clock at the Calabasas Community Center. And also just a thank you to staff and everyone who participated in Veterans Day. It was a beautiful celebration. And thank you to Melanese for a very successful creek cleanup. People actually really enjoy it. Someone walked up to me and said, "I can't believe how fun this is." So I hope we can do that again as well. And it wasn't James. That's all for me.
All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, well, all the announcements have pretty much been taken, so I will forego. I did want to thank the staff as well for the various events that have been mentioned. Just wonderful offerings by the city, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, thank you. And I will say 2 great events that we've had in the past week or 2. We've got 2 more coming up I want to just share with the public. Saturday, November 15th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Calabasas Community Center, we're having a youth health fair. No RSVP is necessary. Please come join us, especially ages 5 to 17. There'll be information booths, a basketball clinic, a family yoga demo. I don't think we get to participate, but and more. So please come join us. It should be a great event. I also wanted to mention that the State of the City is being presented on November 18th, which is next Tuesday. That'll also be not here, but at the Calabasas Community Center. So taking advantage of that fabulous facility that we picked up last year, we're going to use it to its fullest extent. And I want to give a good shout out to our communications team for what they have put together for the State of the City. Although I get to MC it, they're really making me look good, so thank you. Thank you, staff all. What time does that start? That says 6:30 check-in. So we'll get there at 6:30 and we'll see when we get started. That's it for council announcements, so now is the time for the general public comments for items not on the agenda. Each speaker will be asked to state their name and the city they live in, and they will be allowed 3 minutes to address the city council on items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. We are unable to respond due to state law, which prohibits the council from addressing items that are not on the agenda, but we are here and we are listening. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on non-agenda items? If so, please turn in a speaker card to our city clerk. I have one card so far. Surprise, it's from Mark Levinson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and I would like to echo praise to the city and crew that put together the veteran celebration. I think it's extraordinarily important that we acknowledge the veterans who served many, many years ago and are aging, as well as the newer group of people who are currently serving or have served within the last 15 or 20 years. And I think there is a lack of appreciation for what that younger group has done. And I think we need to acknowledge them, and I praise the city and the crew for putting that together. Tomorrow morning, the Chamber of Commerce has a breakfast at Lovey's. Our speaker is Dr. Melissa Simpson, who specializes in internal medicine and pediatrics. Please join us at Lovey's and be there early. On November 24th, the Government Affairs Committee is meeting, and that meeting is by Zoom, and we encourage everyone to attend that as well. We generally have representatives of different Congress people, state senators, state assembly, and the local county, as well as city officials. And then lastly, on the 24th, the Chamber is hosting our holiday champagne mixer. We encourage you to attend, and it's open to the public, and please attend. And it's a great event just to celebrate the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have no other speaker cards, so at this time we're going to move on to our consent calendar. Do any of my colleagues wish to pull any items from the consent calendar?
Yes, and they're really for comments on each 5, 7, 8, and 9. Please. 5, 7, 8, and 9. Anybody else?
Number 10.
Number 10? Anybody else? All right. With that, we'll begin with item number 5, Wild Walnut Park Shade Structure Contract Award to Great Western Installations. Councilmember Shapiro. And
it's a very brief comment, and I'm sure it will be reiterated. That's just to mention on this particular item, which is great, the funds which are being used are a grant and no general funds being used from the city council.
That is
I just
correct,
wanted
sir.
to
It's
confirm
100% grant funded from Los Angeles County.
And I wanted to thank you for that. It's a great idea. Keep getting more grants.
Yeah, that'd be our director. She's been doing a great
Yes.
job with that, so.
Thanks to Erica. That was it.
Any other comments or questions on number 5? Okay, moving on to number 7, Master Agreements for Federal and/or State Transportation Funds and Award Construction Contract for the 2025 Street Resurfacing Project. Councilmember Shapiro.
And these are more comments briefly. One is, I'll reiterate, I keep bringing it up over time, and I know it takes time and it'll get in the process, or we'll be discussing it at some point, is a program which is in Woodland Hills, has been used elsewhere, the Cool Streets program. When we're going to be out to bid in the future for projects around the city for resurfacing, I'd like us to at least explore that a little further. Hopefully I can, so I'm just speaking up for it at this point. That was one. And the other is, I've gotten a lot of comments, and I know you've gotten some as well, and great job on fixing or patching up, but question about when the resurfacing will be done in the area of Parkway and the streets that connect to it. I know there's been some issues for the past year or so. Thank you.
Good question, council members. So I do get a lot of complaints about Parkway Calabasas, and as you mentioned, the maintenance team is really proactive in taking care of the potholes. There's some deficiencies along Parkway Calabasas that we can acknowledge. Some of those are kind of superficial, and some are a little bit deeper, where we're going to need to have a full design and more of a reconstruction project. But we're aiming to get Parkway Calabasas repaved in the next 3 years or so.
Thank you very much. And I know I keep bringing up cool streets. I know Councilmember Albrecht has as well, so thanks very much.
Okay, anybody else on item number 7? No? Okay. Item number 8, award of contract for citywide security services.
My comment for 8 and 9 will be the same, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's just a request, and if my colleagues would also like that, that we're moving forward with this contract, these contracts, that we might ask for a 6-month status to come back and let us know how things are going, and as far as the tickets go, how that's going for both of the projects. That would be it. I don't know if anyone else has that interest.
Can we just get, can we first get it in a memo, and then if anyone wants to agendize it, we can do it after that?
That's fine. I just want to get a status
Yeah,
update,
that's fine.
really.
Fine with me.
Please. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments on 8 or 9? None? Okay. Item number 10, California Department of Housing and Community Development's Pro-Housing Designation Program and Pro-Housing Initiative Program grant. Mayor Pro Tem.
I had some questions, of course. 2 phrases in here kind of drew my instant alert. One was the Department of Housing and Community Development, and the other one was the pro-housing. So I'm reading this, and in the report it says several times that this is not tied to any kind of requirement that we have regarding housing. But has the city attorney checked that?
In general, for the pro-housing designation, you do meet certain requirements you can apply for and be part of the program. It's not above and beyond what the city is already committed to in its housing element, as well as what state law already provides.
Okay. The other question I had was, assuming that there's nothing now, if we approve this, can the legislature or the department, any administrative agency, HCD, then say, we've approved this, and now we're changing some of the requirements after the fact, and you're obligated because you've approved it previously?
I will not say that they won't do that, because they may, but at that point in the future, the city can certainly withdraw from its pro-housing designation if it so chooses. And to the extent that grant funds have already been awarded, the argument is that they're bound to the existing grant funding application and award, and any future would have to be prospective only.
So that might require us to take some kind of affirmative act rather than not? Maybe.
If in the future that's what happens, then yes.
I appreciate, Michael, your desire to get these funds, and some of it can be put to good use, but since I don't recognize the authority of the Housing and Community Development in this city because of the crimes committed by HCD and its director, Zachary Olmsted, against the city in misappropriating state funds to enter into our campaigns, I don't recognize their authority, and I would not want to even potentially bind us to anything. So I'll be voting no.
Anybody else want to comment on item number 10? I will just ask a question as long as we have it open here then. What kinds of things could we be using these grant monies for?
One example would be our objective design standards. We are checking to see if we can use it for projects that we've already started, but that's an example. It's a project that we've committed to in our housing element. It's about $150,000, and you could use these funds to, or you could use this grant to fund projects like that.
Is there any potential to use these grants towards more affordable housing, whether granted to a developer who's already building a project to incentivize additional affordable housing, or is there any other direct correlation?
It's pretty broad, so as long as there's a nexus to affordable housing, it could be a shovel-ready project. The one thing that they don't usually let us use it for is to just acquire property, unless there's already a project approved for that property. But we can certainly use it for other programs that are identified in our housing element, which we have a lot, and we don't have all of the funding available at the moment to complete all of those projects.
All right, thank you. If there's no other comments, I'm going to recommend that we vote on items number 2 through 9, and then we'll vote on items number 10 separately, is what I've heard. So if that sounds good, we'll go ahead and start with, can I get a motion for items number 10 through 9, 2 through 9?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Shapiro. Seconded by Councilmember Albrecht. We're voting on items number 2 through 9. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, yes.
Motion carries 5-0. We'll take a separate motion for item number 10.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Shapiro, seconded by Councilmember Weintraub. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Items number 3 and 4 on the approved consent calendar were the adoption of 3 ordinances. I will read the titles into the record and waive the full reading of the text for each ordinance. Ordinance number 2025-417, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calabasas, California, amending Section 20 of Chapter 10.20 of Title 10 of the Calabasas Municipal Code to amend the definition of mobile billboard advertising display. Ordinance number 2025-418, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calabasas, California, amending Chapter 3.40 of the Calabasas Municipal Code, revising the regulations for purchasing systems. And ordinance number 2025-419, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calabasas, California, amending Chapter 3.42 of the Calabasas Municipal Code, revising the regulations for awarding public projects. That complete, we're moving on to our public hearings. The first one is item number 11, 2026-2027. Oh, that's 2026 to 2027. Community Development Block Grant Program. Our Deputy City Manager, Michael McConville, will present the report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. This item, the Community Development Block Grant Program, is really revered in our community. It's able to help our low and moderate income folks receive some real safety and health improvements to their homes. And so this is something I'm proud to be part of, and I know the council is proud to fund. So tonight, just a few quick slides to provide some project funding approval from the council. We do have Michael Neal from Michael Baker International, the city's CDBG consultant. He is attending via Zoom. So if we have any specific questions for him, we'll open that up to him at the end as well. Okay, so as stated again, tonight's item is to hold a public hearing for the city's participation in the Los Angeles Urban County Community Development LACTA Block Grant Program. Staff is specifically asking to adopt Resolution 2026-1989, which approves the city's projects for the following year in 26-27. So a little bit on the Community Development Block Grant Program. This is a program, grant funding, right, federal dollars that comes from HUD and is allocated through LACTA, through the county, when it's for communities smaller than 50,000, which Calabasas is. The funding levels are based on a few different factors, but they're primarily here before you: number of participating cities, levels of housing need, and community development needs. And then the primary goal of the Community Development Block Grant Program is to benefit low and moderate income individuals. prevent neighborhood deterioration, and again, address urgent community development needs, including emergency or natural disasters. For this upcoming fiscal year, 26-27, the estimated funding that the city is going to receive, again, grant funding, non-general funding, is going to be $103,241. With that in mind, staff is recommending the same allocation that we always has, which is before you, $90,000 for the residential rehabilitation program, and approximately $13,241 to the asbestos and lead-based paint testing and abatement program. A little bit about the residential rehabilitation program. This offers grants of up to $15,000 to residential property owners, including mobile homes, for emergency repairs and safety improvements. Homeowners must qualify as low or moderate income under HUD guidelines, which for a two-person household is about $97,000, and then for a four-person household, it's a little over $121,000. The improvements that can be made, safe, healthy, or energy efficiency related. So think plumbing, electrical, roofing, heating, ventilation, windows, things of that sort. A little of an example project that can exist here. This is in the mobile park. We have a undercarriage that needed some work. We also needed some windows that needed to be retrofitted. Right, so these folks here were able to take advantage of the grant. Here's before, here's after, very quick, right? Nice paint job, nice structural support, and we have some nice new windows so that this person can live comfortably and safely. So about the program itself, which again, in the majority of these funds are going to go, there is high demand for this program with approximately 25 individuals on the waiting list. We noticed this in the Acorn. We also noticed this in the city website. So we do try to be, we advertise as much as possible. Again, the income limits is really self-selecting in many ways. So that is something that eliminates a significant portion of our population. Funding is limited, as already said, so it is approved on a first-come, first-served basis. This past year, we completed 2 projects involving a water heater retrofitting, installation of smoke alarms, toilet replacement, electrical repairs, mobile home skirting replacement, exterior coach repairs, and coach leveling. For this upcoming year, we anticipate that 10 households will be served. The reason only 2 were complete this past year is we had a list of folks that were on the waiting list from COVID and either were no longer eligible, didn't live here, or didn't meet a variety of other requirements. But going through that process, going through the HUD process of removing them from that list is a bit onerous, and so we had to dot some I's and cross some T's. So we do expect more project output here in this upcoming year. Again, for those watching or those here tonight, we encourage you to visit cityofcalabasas.com/CDBG for more information on the program and to even review an application. So with that information, again, the City Council is being asked to adopt Resolution 26, 1989, it's wrong on your page in front of you, apologies, approving the funding for CDB projects for the upcoming fiscal year. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that report. Before I open the public hearing, are there any council questions? All right, seeing none, I will now open the public hearing. Are any members of the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, I now close the public hearing. Does the council have any comment? Councilmember Albrecht.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I can't think of a more worthwhile program. It's amazing. It's an opportunity for those that don't have, that can fall back. It's very, very helpful, and there's no surprise that this has been a program that's in its 52nd year, and I hope it goes another 52 or more. So I'm fully supportive of it and happy we have this and provide it. So thank you, Michael, for all your hard work. We know a lot of the people that needed it and seen them and helped them. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilmember Shapiro?
Thank you. Just again, we'll say this is really a wonderful program. We're lucky we can do this as a city, and hopefully we'll continue to do this. There's no reason not to. The fact that there's 25 people on a waiting list tells you all you need to know of how important and how necessary it is, especially in these times. So thank you to Michael and staff for all your hard work. This is really important. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem,
No, thank you.
Councilmember Weintraub.
Just thank you for the effort that goes into running this program so successfully.
Okay. Thank you for that report. I have no further comments other than our appreciation for a job well done. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Weintraub, seconded by Councilmember Shapiro. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0. Okay, moving on to some continued business. We have none. For new business, we have item number 12, a grant application for the Federal Transit Administration, Section 5310 funding. This is going to be presented by Public Works Director Curtis Castle.
Good evening again, Mayor, City Council. With me tonight is Treya Bezdesny, who's going to give this presentation for Public Works.
Thank you, Curtis. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Just a really quick verbal report for this. So the City of Calabasas intends to apply for the Metro 5310 grant program for the capital purchase and continued operations costs. The purpose of this item is to confirm that no nonprofit organizations are readily available in the area to provide the services proposed. If it is the case that there is an organization who wishes to provide these services for the area, Calabasas is no longer eligible to apply.
Okay. Council questions? Councilmember Shapiro?
One quick one, and thank you for this. I read the report thoroughly. It says most of the grant will be allocated for purchasing new vehicles. Will we be looking at clean energy vehicles now or planning that for the future? I know we've talked about it and you presented before.
Correct. So we are coming up on some of the requirements for clean energy, so they will be clean energy, but the main purpose of this grant is geared towards seniors and disabled. So the major purpose is making sure that this is a low-step vehicle that we would be purchasing and then looking at clean options
Great.
as a secondary.
Thank you for this. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Councilmember Albrecht.
Hey, Treya, thank you for that. Just a comment about the vehicles. I've been hearing an awful lot lately. It's a good opportunity to bring this up about hydrogen, that a lot of vehicles are now using hydrogen. So just a thought, when it comes to the vehicles, look into it and consider it. It doesn't need to be charged. So it's a lot easier and still has the same result. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Nope. Okay. I need a short moment to confer with the city clerk. If we could just pause. My apologies for the break. My script and the agenda didn't quite match, so we're going to go off script and follow the agenda. This is a public hearing, so at this time I'm now going to open the public hearing and ask if there's any members of the public wishing to speak on this item. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing.
I will also clarify that this agenda item was publicly noticed and the appropriate noticing requirements were met for a public hearing, and therefore we can proceed and move forward with this agenda item.
Okay. All right, does council have any comments then before we make a motion? Okay. So with the item in front of us, what would our motion be? Could I ask the city attorney for a recommendation?
It would be to approve the recommendation and move forward with the adoption of the program, sorry, I'm going to the agenda report.
5310?
Yeah, 50, program, FTA Section 5310 program, grant application.
If I
I'll make
could-
the motion as stated.
Second.
Mayor Kraut, did you open the public hearing?
I opened it,
And
asked
closed.
for people. There
Okay.
were none, and I closed it.
Okay, thank
But
you.
thank you, yes. So we have a motion by Councilmember Weintraub, a second by Councilmember Shapiro to accept the recommendation in compliance with the Federal Transit Administration, Section 5310 Program and Grant Application, that we have conducted a public hearing to confirm that no nonprofit organizations are readily available in the area. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, next item on our agenda then is an introduction of ordinance number 2025-420, adopting the California Code of Regulations, Title 24, the 2025 California Building Standards Codes, Parts 1 through 12, with local amendments thereto. Presenting tonight is Community Development Director Michael Klein and Building Official Sparky Cohen.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm going to go through a presentation, just a verbal presentation. And starting with a background, the California building codes include standards for all types of construction and occupancies within the state of California. So these codes are made up ultimately of 12 parts, such as the electrical code, the fire code, the plumbing code, mechanical, etc. Collectively, this is all known as Title 24. The primary purpose of these codes are to ensure that buildings are constructed safely. So if you think about structural integrity, electrical system, plumbing system, the purpose of the building codes is to ensure that everything is constructed safely. And in addition to that, the building codes are also has an emphasis on energy efficiency to ensure that buildings are constructed with energy efficiency in mind. So ultimately, the building codes, it's not a question of whether or not something can be built, it's how it can be built. How can it be built safely, and how can it be built with energy efficiency? Now, every 3 years, the California Building Standards Commission adopts new codes, and they replace all 12 parts in their entirety. These were adopted this year on July 1st, 2025. So they're on July 21st, 2025. The new California building codes were adopted and published, and they go into effect 180 days later, so they will go into effect on January 1st, 2026. So as a result, we're here tonight to ask the council to introduce an ordinance to update the building codes for the city of Calabasas. The building codes are for Calabasas are located in Title 15, Section 15.04 of the Municipal Code. And the ordinance that's presented in front of the council tonight for introduction maintains 4 previously approved administrative amendments that have been adopted by the city council in the past. We're not proposing to change those administrative amendments. They're being maintained in the ordinance. And we are also actually recommending that the ordinance proposes to reorganize Section 15.04 of the Municipal Code, simply to make future adoptions of the triannual building code updates a little bit more simple, a little bit more streamlined. Finally, what I do want to point out is that the building codes added a new section this year under the Wildland Urban Interface, WUI, and the purpose of that is an entirely new section within the building code. And ultimately, what the California Standards Commission did was centralize wildfire resilience standards from different sections of the building code into that new WUI code section. So with that, staff recommends that the council waive further reading and introduce ordinance number 2025-420, and also schedule a public hearing for formal adoption on December 3rd, 2025. I am joined tonight by our building official, Sparky Cohen, and both of us are available for questions.
Okay, any council questions? Councilmember Albrecht.
This is really new to me. the permitting for wildlife, where codes are taken into consideration, the strength and endurance to support avoiding a home from burning or reducing it. And lately, I've noticed that a lot of permits that we have that are being ready to issue are being held up because they're going through the county fire approval process now. So I know a lot of residents have been asking me, possibly other council members, why the delay? So actually today I discovered where that delay is, so I can facilitate the movement of that. But are those particular ordinances included in this that we're voting on tonight?
Yes, that's all part of the fire code, and the building permit process works in tandem with the city and with other agencies. So the fire department is responsible for reviewing their purview over a development project. We do try to work with homeowners and property owners as much as possible. There are ways that we can help facilitate issuance of a permit while they may still be under formal review by the fire department. Our plan check team will try to get a good sense of what may be required from the fire department, so that way a permit may be issued potentially at risk, meaning that the owner can proceed forward. And if the fire department makes some modifications on their final approval, then they'll have to go back and make those corrections in the field. But we try to manage that risk for the homeowners or the property owners. If we think that there are significant changes from the fire department that would be likely, then we would recommend that they wait till they get their fire department approval. But there is a little bit of a song and dance with the city and with the fire department. And right now, with all the fire rebuilds going on from the previous fire, the fire department is slammed. But we're in constant communication. Sparky has done a great job at reaching out to the fire department to make proper connections and to help, again, facilitate that permit process.
If I may add to Michael's statement, when they make it through all the agencies except for fire, how we approach that, it is at risk, and we now take it on as a phased project. There could be many phases, and if we let them start building before the fire department has given them their approval, we usually stop them at the horizontal phase, meaning anything underground, slab and footings would be considered horizontal. And then once they start going up with framing, that would be considered vertical. But we stop them before they would go vertical until they reach that approval from fire.
Well, this is a big surprise to a lot of people right now, that this is mandatory to go through this. And I spoke with the person at the fire department today who can facilitate this. So I'll share that with you, and I think it'll smooth itself out reasonably soon, and hopefully we'll keep an eye on it. So thank you very much.
Any more questions? Councilmember Shapiro?
Just following up on Councilmember Albrecht's comment, a number of us attended today the LA County opening in the city of Calabasas, one-stop shop, including fire department, including planning, including everything in our city, so that hopefully will make things run smoother and be easier for you in doing your job. But thank you for this. Thank you. No other questions or comments.
Just thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay. I do want to say thank you to Michael and Sparky. I actually was in correspondence with them not too long ago as they helped one of our residents get a permit at risk, and his project was able to move forward on schedule, and he got his fire department approval before they got out of the ground. So thank you for working with our homeowners on that. Anything you can do to put a notice together for our residents so that as they come in, they know that that's their next stop, or maybe they get a parallel track going on. We do appreciate you for doing that. Just to clarify, this item that we're voting on tonight are our California state building codes, and they change every 3 years like clockwork. And as far as amendments, we can make administrative amendments, but to the best of my knowledge, we cannot make any other amendments to these codes unless we have a very specific local item that is particular only to our jurisdiction. Otherwise, we are subject to the state of California. So I see this largely as an administrative item. Can I entertain a motion to approve?
So moved.
Oh, I missed one item, didn't I? Follow the script. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
That was moved by Councilmember Weintraub, seconded by Councilmember Albrecht. Good attempt by Councilmember Shapiro. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next item on the agenda is introduction of, oh, wait.
You have to read the ordinance title.
I know, I'm on the wrong page here.
Mayor Kraut, I think the script asks you to read the title of the ordinance.
It does, doesn't it? Okay, I will read the title of the ordinance into the record and waive the full reading of the text. Thank you. She's keeping me on my toes here. An ordinance of the City Council, ordinance number 2025-420, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calabasas, California, repealing Chapter 15.04 of the Calabasas Municipal Code and adopting a new Chapter 15.04 of the Calabasas Municipal Code pursuant to Government Code Section 50022.2 that adopts the California Code of Regulations, Title 24, containing the 2025 California Building Standards Codes, Parts 1 through 12, with local administrative amendments thereto, in accordance with California Health and Safety Code, Section 17958, adopting the 2024 International Property Maintenance Code, and adopting by reference the 2025 Consolidated Fire Protection District Code of the County of Los Angeles. All right. Next item on the agenda is Title VI update presented by Public Works Director Curtis Castle.
You won't have to read anything like that for this one. So, and again, I have Trey with us to give us a brief presentation on this, and we're here for any questions.
Thank you. Yes, so tonight I'll be presenting on the Title VI update for our transit services. For this presentation, we'll quickly walk through the background of Title VI, why the city is required to participate, the requirements of the update, the process of updating, the fiscal impact, and finally, council recommendation. So Calabasas Transit is a subrecipient of federal funding through Los Angeles Metro, and the city is required to follow Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Section 601 of Title VI protects people from discrimination based on race, color, or national origin in programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. Under Title VI, transit agencies are required to follow the Federal Transit Administration's Circular 4702.1b, which outlines the requirements for the Title VI program. The requirements of the plan are a notice of rights, which is posted at City Hall and on the shuttles, information about how to file a complaint with a copy of the complaint, a list of existing complaints, which we have none, a public participation plan, which outlines what the city must do in the event we make substantial modifications to our existing program, a limited English proficiency plan to ensure the information we provide is accessible, a racial breakdown of non-elected advisory councils, in our case, it's the Traffic and Transportation Commission, and two things that are not applicable to our service are a narrative describing subrecipient monitoring and an equity analysis for new facilities. Every 3 years, the plan must be updated and submitted to Metro for submission to FTA. Staff completed consultant selection between July and August and awarded the contract to Moore & Associates, who has completed the initial program and 2 subsequent updates. Between August and October, Moore & Associates completed the required field work and compiled the draft report. This draft report was reviewed by staff and found to meet all federal requirements and guidelines. The required public comment period opened on October 6th, concluded on October 28th with no comments. At their October 28th meeting, TTC reviewed, commented, and recommended the item to council. The goal is to have approval of this item tonight so that staff can submit to Metro for approval, and then Metro will forward to FTA for the final approval, at which point we will post it onto our website. In past updates, the city has not had any significant comments requiring council to reapprove the plan. A quick look at the fiscal impact of this update. Calabasas Transit is completely funded externally, mostly through Metro's local return propositions A and C and measures M and R, which can only be used for specific transit and transportation activities and periodic grants, such as the 5310 grant we spoke about earlier. For this project specifically, we have budgeted with Metro to split the cost between Prop A and C with a total project cost of $11,400. And to conclude this report, staff recommends the council adopt Resolution 2025-1990 to approve the 2025 Title VI update report.
All right, thank you very much. This time, starting on my left, any council questions?
No, thank you.
No.
No, thank you. I'll just move the item.
Okay, no questions. I've got a motion by Councilmember Shapiro. I'm assuming that's a council motion to adopt 2025-1990,
Yes.
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilmember Weintraub. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, our next and last item on the agenda is citywide speed limits, being presented tonight by Curtis Castle and guest.
Yes, and I'm going to pass the buck again. So I have with me tonight Deputy Director Jay Dinkins, who's going to lead this presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm Jay Dinkins, Deputy Public Works Director. Tonight I'll be presenting the citywide speed limit update, which is the culmination of the latest engineering and traffic survey conducted under the California Vehicle Code and California MUTCD. The purpose of this item is to comply with state law and reflect today's roadway conditions. The goal is twofold: to ensure enforceability under the Vehicle Code and to enhance safety for drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. The city last updated speed limits in 2015. In 2022, staff extended the validity of these limits while we completed the general plan update and designated our 3 safety corridors. With these updates now complete, we're ready to establish permanent speed limits that reflect the latest engineering data and road classifications. Speed limits are set using a combination of state law and engineering judgment. The process begins with speed surveys to determine the 85th percentile speed. That's the speed at or below which 85% of vehicles are traveling. From that point, we can apply small reductions for factors such as crash history, road characteristics, pedestrian and bike activity, or if the road is designated as a safety corridor. Last year, the City Council designated 3 priority safety corridors based on crash patterns and multimodal activity. Mulholland Highway from the south city limit to the north city limit, Las Virgenes Road from Thousand Oaks Boulevard to Lost Hills Road, and Parkway Calabasas between Calabasas Road and Paseo Primario. These designations also allow us to apply small speed reductions to address safety concerns along these higher risk corridors. Mulholland Highway is one of the most complex corridors, a mix of rural and fully developed areas, including curves, medians, driveways, and school access points. The updated survey supports lowering speed limits along the entire corridor to improve safety and consistency. Las Virgenes carries our highest volumes in the city. The survey supports reduction of 5 miles per hour along several segments, particularly between Lost Hills and the freeway. These reductions reflect current operating speeds and crash data. On Parkway Calabasas, the survey supports slightly lower limits towards Calabasas Road, where traffic transitions into residential areas with more school activity at Bay Laurel Elementary School. We have also reviewed school frontages along the city, throughout the city. Most of these zones are already set. Under California state law and supported by our engineering and traffic survey, we can reduce school zone limits down to 20 miles an hour when certain criteria are met. So we're introducing 20-mile-an-hour speed limits at locations shown here. These limits all apply when children are present and consistent with California Vehicle Code provisions. Here's the existing map of speed limits, which was established in 2015, and the proposed speed limits citywide. In most cases, limits are being lowered, but they're targeted reductions in key corridors, particularly Mulholland, Las Virgenes, and Calabasas Road, where we saw conditions or classification changes. Some examples of notable updates include Calabasas Road in Old Town reduced from 25 to 20 miles an hour. Las Virgenes reduced from 45-50 down to 40-45. Mulholland Highway reduced to 35 miles an hour for the whole stretch. Valmar and Old Topanga Canyon reduced from 35-40 down to 30-35. And these adjustments are data-driven and help us ensure that the posted speed limits reflect how many people actually drive. These updates provide several community benefits. They implement roadway safety. They improve roadway safety by aligning limits with actual travel speeds and context. They support the city's walkability and multimodal goals. This graphic illustrates the pedestrian fatality probability grows exponentially with just 10 miles an hour increases in speed. Lastly, they ensure the continued enforceability under state law. If adopted, staff will move forward with a sign replacement. We estimate a cost of $15,000 to $18,000 to update the signs citywide. These costs will be included in a forthcoming RFP. Staff recommends that the City Council approve the new speed limits as outlined in the report and adopt the resolution establishing them throughout the city. Now, any questions?
All right, thank you for your report. Council questions? Can we begin with Councilmember Weintraub?
I don't know if it's necessarily a question or more of a statement, just since we're talking about safety corridors and traffic. I just have to bring up Mulholland Highway. How does this impact the issues that we've discussed, how during school hours, the roads, they're so bottlenecked, like you can't even get down them at some parts. So how will this impact that?
I can go ahead, yeah. The during school, like the pickup and drop-off times, is that what you're addressing? That these changes are not going to make any difference for those peak period, or those peak 15-minute periods.
Okay, and I guess as we're talking about like the following priority for these safety corridors, I still think that we have to figure out, and it's not for lack of trying, but I think we still have to figure out how to make these roads safer in the event of an emergency or an evacuation. If something were to happen, if there's an emergency during that early morning pickup or drop-off hours and the sheriff or fire has to get into the neighborhoods, there's going to be such a delay in response time. And I'm only bringing this up as we're talking about safety corridors and changes to these roads. I guess that's coming back at a future time, but I just don't want that issue to be ignored as we look at these main areas, Mulholland Highway, Las Virgenes, and Parkway Calabasas. I just think we're really asking for trouble the way at least Mulholland Highway is designed when you cannot get down those roads. So, but I appreciate this staff report and I'm in total support, but I just wanted to bring that up as this is before us.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you.
And if I could ask our Public Works team, when you're speaking close to the mic so that those listening online can pick up those comments as well.
I'm in support as well. You mentioned something about replacing the signs. So I'm wondering on some of these signs, can they be reused? In other words, if one goes down from 45 to 40, maybe there's one that was 40 that's going down to 35, and you can just transfer the sign. There's quite a few of those.
That's a really good point. What we'll probably do with the old signs is keep them as backup, because the cost to buy all new signs is not terribly significant in the $15,000 to $18,000 range. But we'll definitely keep the old signs if they're still usable. And there is kind of a nuance to traffic signs. the reflectivity or retroreflectivity on the signs actually wears out. And there's a point at which they become unusable and I think actually unenforceable if they're not replaced at before that wears out. So we'll keep these as backup.
Okay. My main question is, and this came up years ago a couple times when we've redone this, we have a lot of streets that kind of meander in and out of the city into unincorporated areas. And so what we wind up doing is we change our speed limits, but those streets don't necessarily get changed on the county side of it, which these are all on county areas. So did you look at that at all? Like, let's just take Moreau Road for an example, or Las Virgenes Road. When you go in and out of the city, are we creating any speed traps? Are we giving people sufficient warning that right here, you need to slow down? Because it's kind of a fairness issue, and it's also a public safety issue when things could be varying by 10 miles or more per hour. It then becomes very difficult for motorists. Could you comment on that?
Yes, a good example of that is going to be Mulholland Highway on the south end of town, where you're entering from the county going northbound. It's 45 on that section of Mulholland Highway, and right when you cross into Calabasas, it's now going to be 35. So technically, right at the city border, it's not going to be cut off, boom, 35 miles an hour. We have to give a warning sign, say speed reduction ahead, and then maybe a quarter mile into the city on that south end of town, it becomes 35 miles an hour. So, and there are certain speed trap laws that we have to follow. We can't drop it within a certain, 10 miles an hour is the limit of what I can drop the speed limit from on that, to not be considered a speed trap. Also, so that 35 miles an hour is in effect, right past the, just north of the city, north of that south city border.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Perhaps, because I think it's going to be, I wouldn't ask you to put signs out there warning people that on this date it's going to change, but maybe in the monthly e-news and on our website, we start publicizing we're changing these things, and people can take a look at it there. We're not going to hit everybody, but I just want to be fair to people that just are not going to know, and one day it's just going to be totally different.
Sure. And the sheriff's department usually gives maybe a 15 to 30-day grace period before they start actually giving tickets to people.
Okay, all right. Those were my only concerns, but I think this is a good idea. I'm glad that we're doing it, and I noticed that everything's going down, and there's a couple that are maybe not going down in both directions, but they're at least in one direction it's going down. So thank you for the report.
Councilmember Shapiro?
Thanks very much for the report and the hard work. A couple questions. Assuming this goes forward, it sounds like it's going to, the timing of implementation of the new speed limits would begin when? Approximately.
We're hoping to order signs soon. We have to put out this RFP for new signs, but first we have to figure out internally how much is changing and come up with quantities for each location and how much for each segment that we have. How many do we need for each? And so that'll be in the next month or so. So we're hoping to order in December and hopefully start implementing in January. Is that correct, guys? Would you concur? Okay.
That's what I presumed. And again, it's been mentioned, I'll bring it up as well. Notice the community is very important. Even to this day, and we did a lot of outreach, I know, in front of City Hall and the library, you have people saying, I never knew that the change occurred. They don't look at the signs. So the more we can provide notice to the community, the better on this. And just a comment that's come back before, we've had people in the city who want higher speed limits, not less, and they actually complain about it. And again, in reviewing your report, which is based on data and scientific evidence, so I understand it, and what we're all about here is public safety and keeping people as safe as possible, and incidents, if they occur, certainly that's indicated in your charts. So I'm fully supportive of this, but realize I'm sure we're going to get comments on both sides of this coin. Thank you.
Councilmember Albrecht?
Thank you, Mayor. So glad this is going into effect. I never thought I would be for speed going down, but it's very purposeful. And we're a small city, so all of us have driven throughout the city. We really know the tender spots, and you've picked each one of them, and they deserve to be a little slower. And I'll give a good example. Not that I'm picking on anybody, because everybody's at fault when it comes to speed. But Parkway, when we reach just before City Hall, the light that's on there, coming around that blind curve, people are trying to make the light, and we've had a lot of terrible accidents there. So I think having a month for it to take place, for us to go out and have community outreach a little bit and let people know, that's going to be very, very helpful. And I think they'll appreciate it for the most part. It's just a safety aspect. And the sign on Mulholland Highway, I've seen that sign. One way it's 30, 45, and 35. But having that little grace period and the warning ahead of time is very good. So when we do our outreach, I would suggest that you mention that, that people will know that the cutoff isn't exactly at that moment. And there is a grace period, and there's also a lag time before it takes to effect. And people will welcome that, knowing that. And it's a well-traveled street. A lot of people travel there when you add it up cumulatively. So they'll appreciate knowing that.
Good, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good report.
Okay, and I just want to comment about Lost Hills Road. First of all, I've noticed that the speed limit is going down, but it was not selected as one of our safety corridors. I'd like to encourage the city to consider that as a new designation so that when we come into this same issue in the future, we do have the opportunity of adjusting it downward if necessary. Reminding everybody that's a very highly used road for people, what we call the Z traffic, going from the western cities in Ventura County, trying to get to Santa Monica. That's a great way to cut over the hill. So we get a lot of traffic going through there, and again, at this point, no harm, no foul. Those numbers are going down, but if they go up next year, I want to be able to stop that from progressing. The second comment on Lost Hills Road is that about 15 years ago, we opened a bridge over Las Virgenes Creek so that the Calabasas residents of Deer Springs and the drop-off people on that street can get to A.E. Wright Middle School. So I know we don't think of that as a school zone, but that is, in my opinion, a school zone. Is there any way that we can get a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit when school is present for just that section on Lost Hills Road, south of, what's the name of it? Malibu Hills Road?
Yeah, yeah. Well, for my contribution is on this is that I think it's to be a school zone, it has to be within 200 feet of a school. There's no direct access to the school from Lost Hills. It's like you're saying, it's just the bridge across where we have seen a lot of parents that pick up and drop off on that stretch. So, Trey, were you going to say something else?
Just that the school has to be adjacent to the roadway, and with the creek in between the school and the roadway, we legally cannot make it a
doesn't
school zone,
qualify.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for clarifying that. Appreciate all of your hard work and your input. So if there are no further comments or questions, are there any members of the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
Move to approve by Mayor Pro Tem Bazagian, seconded by Councilmember Weintraub. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We are now on to verbal reports. Does the council have anything to report? Go ahead, Councilmember Shapiro.
I'll be quick. I attended the Valley Economic Alliance Board meeting, and we also honored the Honorable Jeffrey Prang and Bob Blumenfield at a special evening. And I attended, there's an entertainment and sustainability committee groups working towards the FIFA and World Cup and beyond. Also attended, on behalf of the city, the VICA Economic Forecast, which was very eye-opening, and it was impressive, quite a bit of information. And also attended SCAG 3 meetings last week, And on December 4th, there's an economic summit in addition to our joint meetings, and I will report back on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Albrecht?
Just got two quickies. One, I attended the Valley Economic Financial Committee. It was this afternoon, about an hour and a half. I'm trying to keep our accounts and investments benchmarked, so we're going to be reviewing that. It was very purposeful, and I think we're going to be saving a little bit of money on fees. And then Clean Power Alliance. I always like to mention what's going on with rates because I have my finger on it a little bit. And rates with the Clean Power are holding steady. We've actually budgeted, and we're not using as much of our budget. SCE's rates have increased, so the disparity is quite significant with the Clean Power. We were going to give it back to the residents, but I think what we're going to wind up doing is hold it till next year because weather is really in our favor the past couple months, and if and when we need it, we'll have that extra money to use, so we won't have to raise the rates. So we're going to spread it out a little bit and more purposeful. So I'm very pleased the way things are going, and I can't speak for SCE, but we're trying to do it on our end. That's my report.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Nothing, thank you.
Councilmember Weintraub?
Nothing at this time.
All right, and I'll just make mention that Mayor Pro Tem and myself did attend the Mayor's Youth Council last Monday, and that organization is starting to put together their plan for next year. We look forward to see what they have in store for us. And I'd also like to report that on Thursday, the 6th of November, last Thursday, I was asked to join the Calabasas Coalition to speak and answer some questions regarding potential sales tax that we've talked about here before. That's it from me. City Manager, Assistant City Manager, do you have anything to report?
Yes, Mayor, a couple brief items. I'd like to first introduce our new Communications Manager, Esme Carriega, and if it's okay with the Mayor, I'd like to have her come up and say a few words. Esme,
please.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Good evening, Mayor and council members and staff. I first would like to foremost start with expressing my gratitude and appreciation for this new role as Communications Manager. I have an extensive background in public relations and broadcast journalism, and in my new role, I'm excited to bring more visibility and connection to the amazing work that the city is doing for the community. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
two more quick items. I just want to commend Chief Dyer and Brian Cameron with Epic for putting on this last Saturday, the Mulholland Highlands Safety Fair. There's approximately 30 residents that attended that event, and they were able to hand out city's emergency preparedness booklets, know your zone info, Genesis alert signups, and really went over an overview and the need to evacuate early, being that there's a single access point for that community. And lastly, I just wanted to congratulate our city manager, Kendon Meek, on the birth of his granddaughter today. So congratulations, Kendon. That's all, Mayor.
All right, so we have reached the end of our agenda. Want to remind everybody the mayor's State of the City address is next Tuesday. Please join us. But the next city council meeting that we will be returning to will be on December 3rd. And the city council will hold our annual reorganization meeting on December 10th. So until then, we're adjourned.
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
Future agenda items.
Future agenda items. Sure, we'll take that.
Can we just have an update or a discussion on e-bikes? It comes up constantly, and I think there's just some miscommunication on what the rules are in Calabasas versus other cities. So if we can have that discussion, I think it's overdue.
Okay. Is there anybody that wants to second that?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Pass that on to our city manager. We'll get that on the agenda.
Great.
All right. And with that, we're adjourned.